Welcome back to another weekly grocery haul. As always, I get groceries, most of my pantry items when they're on sale. So some things in this haul will not be for this week, and likewise, there are some things I already have in my pantry that I will use this upcoming week. But all the fresh stuff I'll probably use this week unless otherwise noted. So let's start with the produce. I have some apples for snacking. I always have fruit on hand because if I'm in the mood for something sweet, some fruit usually takes care of that craving, so it keeps me from having something bad. So I also have nectarines this week because they're on sale, so why not? I have some, my nephew's pointing out the cauliflower. That I don't know when I'm going to use that yet. That's just one thing I picked up because it lasts for a long time, but it was really cheap now. Like having broccoli or cauliflower and stuff on hand. So that's just staying in the fridge for a bit. Some green beans for at least one meal this week, and the rest I'll use next week. Some peppers. I'm gonna make some tacos, but I'm also gonna do some hummus with some crudités. That's why I got different colors of peppers, because I wanted to have as many colors as possible on my plate with the crudités. Some chilies, because I always need chilies. I still have a couple of green ones, but I was out of red, so I picked some of those up. And yeah, the peppers and chili I also want to use for some lettuce wraps with some chicken. That's why I got some those romaine, little romaine lettuces. So those will be for the lettuce cups. I got some turmeric mostly because it was on sale. I don't see it very often. I'm not planning on using it this week, but it should last long enough in the fridge. So I'll probably use that to make a curry sometime soon, just not this week. Then I have some carrots mostly for my crudités. I also got a purple one, so purple and orange. Like I said, get as many colors as possible on my plate. For a couscous salad, I'm gonna use a lot of parsley, so I got a whole bunch of that. And in the couscous salad, I'm also gonna use the peppers. I'm gonna use some cucumber, and the cucumber I'm also gonna use with my hummus. And I'll have some on my sandwiches, maybe for snacks, etc. I like cucumbers, and they're a nice low-carb snack. But yeah, the produce this week came to 16 euros and 84 cents. Then we have some meat and dairy, and meat replacement. I have some falafel, like I said, for tomorrow, for Monday, meatless Monday, for couscous salad. Then some ham, because my nephew wanted toasties for dinner tonight. So I got some ham for that. Some canned tuna. Well, these are pouches, but same thing. I'm going to use those for Fish Friday, and I'm actually not having them as the ingredients in a sandwich. I'm going to make the bread out of tuna. I saw a recipe for that. You use tuna, egg, and baking soda, and that makes like a roll, like a high-protein, low-carb roll. So I'm going to try that out. Some salmon, 2 fillets. One I'm going to have on Friday with a noodle bowl or a rice bowl, whatever I decide to do, a grain bowl. But I'll have some salmon with that. The other is just going to stay in the freezer. For lunch tomorrow, we're having some chicken breast on sandwiches. I got some ground chicken. I'm going to divide that in half. One half I'm going to use for some tacos. The other half I'm going to use for some burgers. Like chicken burgers, but instead of buns, I'm going to use some of the lettuce as well to keep it low carb. And I have some hummus for Meatless Monday to go with my crudités. Some cheese to go with a ham for the toasties tonight. And I'll save some of the cheese probably for the tuna rolls. And I also picked up some paneer cheese. It was I saw it on sale this week, and I've never tried it. I'm not going to use it this week, but maybe next week or the week after I'll do like some sag paneer or like a curry or something like that. We'll just figure it out. It lasts long enough. It's good for another month or so. So I have time to think about options to use it. So meat and dairy and meat replacements this week came to 21 euros and 68 cents. And then we have everything else. If you have noticed, the last couple of months I've been on a pickle binge. So I got some more different kinds of pickles. Some of these I do make myself, usually like the onion, like a pickled onion. I often make them myself, but it lasts a lot longer if you buy them store-bought. And also, even when this jar is empty, I can make my own pickled onions again, and I will have a jar with a label on it. I'll just wash out the jar. So that's another reason to get these, even though I make my own pickled cucumbers and pickled onions sometimes. I'm out of mustard, so I got some more mustard. I got two different kinds. I got a mild, smooth one and a coarse, like more pungent one. So I do like mustard, so we'll use that. I have my one bag of chips for the week. My nephew picked that out. And it's a cheese onion flavor. And I got 2 bars of chocolate. I went for dark chocolate this time. It's dark chocolate with marshmallow and red fruit, dried fruit, because it was on clearance. So I thought, try that. Then I have some flatbreads, not for this week, just for the pantry. You still need to bake those in the oven. So that's just on sale, so I picked them up. Then for tomorrow for lunch to go with my chicken, I have my rolls, loaf of bread for tonight, the toasties, and actually these I'm not going to use tomorrow now that I think about it. These are just going to go in the pantry for probably next week because I'll have bread left over. So I'll just have sandwiches tomorrow with the chicken breast. And that's another reason I like buying these for Sunday. First of all, I bake them fresh in the morning, and second, they're shelf stable until I bake them, so I can just save them for next week. And then for lunch, my nephew picked pain au chocolat, a plain croissant, and a donut. I have ham and cheese croissant and sausage roll. So that is that part. That came to 32 euros and 3 cents. And then a little bit of household. I'm out of rinse aid, so I restocked, and I'm almost out of degreaser, so I stocked up on that. That was 2 euros and 82 cents. And yeah, that makes the grand total for this week 73 euros and 37 cents, or converted into US dollars, that is $84.80. Now, if you like this kind of content, I do this every single Saturday. And if you'd like to see how I get all these groceries by bicycle here in the Netherlands, I post a video about that about once a month. I posted one last week from the top of my head. And if you want to see what I do with all of this, every Sunday I do a Sunday prep day video where I prep for the week. So I cut all my vegetables and I make soups, stews, sauces, that kind of stuff. And if you want to see what I ultimately eat, you can check out my Instagram where I post every single meal, or I post a video on here about once a month where I show you everything I eat in a day for a week, and I posted one last week, I believe. So if that all sounds good to you, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.
Thanks for watching, bye.